Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to a very bitterly cold, wet, stormy Cape Town. And, in Cape Town, it doesn't matter what the weather's looking like. We make time to celebrate milestones in our beautiful history. And one such milestone is the 330th anniversary of the arrival of Sheikh Yusuf of Macassar to South Africa. Sheikh Yusuf was a well-known author, teacher, and a man of so many talents. To chat to us more about this renowned scholar is another man of many talents, author, journalist, and radio host, Brother Shafiq Morton. Assalamu alaikum, Uncle Shafiq. Are you well?
Walaikum salam, Lukman. Yes, alhamdulillah, as well as I can be in this cold, very cold for Cape Town, but we're going to get through it.
Absolutely. I expected to find you in a scuba suit or a wetsuit, but alhamdulillah, you're nice and warm. Jazakallah for affording me your time. Sheikh Yusuf of Macassar,
Right.
we've heard stories, we've heard, volumes to the point that you're going to include him in your upcoming book as well. But for those that don't know too much about the well-known and renowned scholar, give us some insight into Sheikh Yusuf.
Yeah, Lukman, Sheikh Yusuf of Macassar was born in a place called Goa on the island of Sulawesi in Indonesia, in the Indonesian archipelago, in 1626. And what is interesting about him is that he's actually a Sayyid. He's a descendant of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. His father was known as Abu Mahasin, and it's believed that his father originally came from Hadramaut and married into the royal family of Goa. And what is interesting is that Sheikh Yusuf's grandmother is actually Portuguese.
Oh, wow.
So Sheikh Yusuf of Macassar has Indonesian blood, Arab blood, and a little bit of Portuguese just thrown in for good measure.
Wow.
But he was a man that showed promise from day one. I mean, at the age of 8, he became Hafiz al-Quran and started studying. And he studied for most of his youth from about 1636. He started studying.
Sure.
And he only finished his studies when he came home in about 1670. He studied for about nearly 30 years, and he visited Aceh. He studied at Aceh in Indonesia. He studied in Sulawesi. He studied in India, Bijapur in India. He studied in Damascus. He studied in Hadramaut in Yemen. And then he also studied in Anatolia in Turkey before coming to Makkah and becoming a lecturer in the Haram at Makkah, which is a very high honor and is a measure of the qualities of Sheikh Yusuf of Macassar.
Wow, what a accomplishment! And the life and times of Sheikh Yusuf is so much that we can draw wisdom and use in our daily lives today as well. Uncle Shafiq, you also have a book that's coming out very soon, and inshallah, before the end of the year, we could see that book released. What are some of the key areas that you'll be focusing on the life and times of the renowned scholar Sheikh Yusuf of Macassar?
Yeah, the book is called Circle of the Saints, and it has a look at all of the kramats that surround the Cape, but we're looking more at the histories of these people, at what they contributed to particularly to Islam at the Cape. I mean, most of them were scholars, and how they educated us and how they kept the traditions of Islam alive. But in Sheikh Yusuf, it's one could actually write an encyclopedia about him.
Wow.
But I focused on 3 aspects of his life: his education, which is incredible. I mean, he had ijaza in 18 different Sufi orders just for a start.
Wow.
Master of the Quran, master of Sirah, Tafsir. I mean, he was known as one of the top Islamic scholars in the world before he even came to the Cape. I mean, he was a world figure. And one thing that I will point out in the book is that Sheikh Yusuf, who was eventually exiled due to political activities in Banten, he arrives in Ceylon, and in Ceylon, the Mughal Empire gets to hear about Sheikh Yusuf being there. And the Mughal emperor, Aurangzeb, warns the Dutch to leave Sheikh Yusuf alone, not to harm him, because he himself is a student of Sheikh Yusuf. And Aurangzeb, who is the Sultan of the Mughal Empire,
Mhm.
has got 150 million people under him, and he sees Sheikh Yusuf as his ustad, as his teacher.
Wow. Wow. And I mean, the legacy just continues from there as well, in which Sheikh Yusuf has left behind in beautiful Cape Town, which we're so blessed about as well. What are some of the lessons or teachings that Uncle Shafiq would like to highlight where we can actually benefit and use in our modern day or in today's life?
It's interesting you actually asked that, Lukman, because Sheikh Yusuf, when he was in exile in Ceylon, he was exiled to two places, Ceylon and Cape Town.
Mhm.
In Ceylon, he wrote over 20 works
Mhm.
in the most eloquent Arabic you could expect. I mean, he was a proponent of Ibn al-Arabi.
Mhm.
But one of the biggest lessons that I've learned from looking at the works of Sheikh Yusuf, he says in one of his books, it's incumbent upon us as Muslims to think good about other people. And he goes on to say, even people who are not Muslim,
Mhm.
because as Sheikh Yusuf says, their good points might be better than ours. So we
Wow.
have to remain humble. And it's a kind of a lesson that, it's a life lesson for me
Mhm.
coming from Sheikh Yusuf of Macassar, to be humble and not to ever think that we are superior to other people because their good qualities could be far better than ours.
Oh, what a beautiful passage, and something that we all could live by and learn from as well. Sheikh Yusuf being one of the very one of the most renowned scholars, but we've had so many other scholars that have made their home in Cape Town and contributed in various levels as well. Will your book be focusing on some of those renowned scholars?
Yes, people like Tuan Guru,
Hmm.
who wrote the Quran from memory on Robben Island, who wrote 5 Qurans from memory during the time he stayed at the Cape. Tuan Guru, by the way, who was part of the royal family of Tadori.
Hmm.
Then another person I've discovered called Said Yahya bin Untung,
Hmm.
who came from Surakarta on Java, also another Sayyid, descendant of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and also a great scholar, Sayyid Suleiman Arifai, who came all the way from Makkah. Just so many others, and of course you've got Tuan Kapati Low and Sheikh Hassan Matebi Shah, the two imams that stayed behind
Mm.
after Sheikh Yusuf had died and his family was repatriated, and they stayed behind to teach Islam to the slaves of Cape Town.
Yeah, I think in Cape Town we often draw reference to these renowned scholars, and try and keep up their good work, their memory, and also so that we can pass it on to the next generation as well. Are we doing enough? Do you think a lot more needs to be done? Are there avenues in Cape Town where people can go and discover this wonderful history?
Unfortunately, look, man, we've only started trying to revive this whole landscape. The doyen of historians at the Cape is obviously Dr. Ahmad Davids,
Mhm.
who's long passed on, Sheikh Siraj Hendricks, Dr. Yusuf da Costa, and so many others. But what we've been doing at OCAF South Africa, and they've been commissioning the work I've been doing, is to create a project called Leaders and Legacies.
Mhm.
And through this project, to do books about our famous personalities. Like we've done one on Tuan Guru,
Mhm.
we've done one on Shah Abu Bakr Effendi, another Sayyid, by the way, who was sent to South Africa to teach the Muslims there by the Ottoman Empire in about 1860. And the third project now is the Circles of the Saints, focusing more on the personality than anything else and the contribution that these people made. And what is amazing, what we discover, is that these people, they were royalty
Mm.
and they were alims. I mean, it's not Mickey Mouse and Donald
Of
Duck that were
course,
sent out
of
here
course,
by
definitely.
the Dutch East India Company. I mean, these are scholars of the highest standard who came to the Cape.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing so much more, reading your book and other work, set piece done by scholars like yourself as well and journalists like yourself, Uncle Shafiq. Jazakallah for affording me your time. All the very best with your project, and we look forward to linking up with you in the near future, inshallah.
Afan, only a pleasure, Lukman, and everybody watching us as well. Stay warm.
Jazakallah so much. Have a great evening. Assalamu alaikum, Uncle Shafiq.
Walaikum salam.
There we go. Celebrating the life and times 330th anniversary of the arrival of Sheikh Yusuf of Macassar to South Africa. Momentous occasion for all of us in South Africa, where we get to celebrate and experience Islam to a large extent compared to some parts of the world. We know our brothers and sisters in Gaza right now are so oppressed, and the genocide that's been happening. From all of us at the Cape Town team, we're back tomorrow between 5 and 6. Do join us from the team in Cape Town, Sohail Barnes, Mohammed Parker, and myself, Lukman Shadrack. Have a great evening. Assalamu alaikum.